But Dabo Swinney, the head coach of Clemson, he just decided, all right, I'm going to go ahead and clear some things up here. And he was on Sirius XM's Clemson Central, and he had some thoughts about something I don't know about you guys. I'm a little fatigued with. I've got portal fatigue because it seems like it pops up every week or so. Dabo Swinney decided to break down different types of players and how they apply them to the portal.
There's three types of players in the portal. Well, most of the guys in the portal aren't good enough to play for us.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. I mean, we have guys that are backups at Clemson that go in the portal because they just want to have an opportunity. And most of them are graduates, by the way. But we have guys that are backups, or they want a chance to go play, and I got no problem with that. And so rarely do we have a starter leave Clemson. You've got the majority of the guys. They're guys that are in the portal because they want to have a chance to go start somewhere. Mm-hmm. They're not playing where they are. They're not good enough to come in and play for us. And so we'd rather take a good high school player, as long as we can get them, which we do, and you develop them. So that's the first type. The second type of guy that goes in the portal is he's only going in the portal as a formality because the deal's already been done. He knows where he's going before he ever goes in the portal. 100. So we're not getting that guy. Mm-hmm. And then the third type of guy is going in the portal just to see what he can get. And we're never going to win that war. So, we've been really fortunate because, first of all, we're established, been there 16 years, and we don't have a lot of attrition. I mean, we had 127 guys go through spring ball, and 125 are still on the roster, after spring, post-portal closing. So that's a miracle in today's world. Technically, everybody that we sign is a transfer. Everybody. Just the kids that we've signed this year were all transfers from high schools.
Right.
There's a lot of people that talk about that, but we just do what we think's best for Clemson.
All right. That's Dabo Swinney, Clemson head coach. You guys are more portaled up than I am. So go ahead.
Did you hear anything that he said that was inaccurate?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No, I did not. The guys that don't have anything already figured out, they're not good enough. That's why they're leaving where they're at. They're not good enough. And generally, they're not going to be good enough to transfer and be that player at a top Power 5 major program. That's factual. And if they are good enough, it is a formality. Those conversations, the deal has already been made. 100%. 100%. So, and if you are starting at a school like Clemson, you're not leaving. The only way you're leaving is if you're going home because your grades are bad or if you're going to the pros. That's the only way you're leaving if you're starting at a place like Clemson. So
I think the other perspective to that point is this is how you should build your roster in college football. This is no different than us looking at an NFL roster and saying they build through the draft. Like that's how this works. That's how it should work in theory. I mean, if you're an NFL team, you're trying to flip your roster and go all in free agency. How many times do we say teams that won the offseason that never actually win when it comes to the regular season? We say that all the time in the NFL. And it's no different when it comes to college football, to all the points LaVar just made. Or even Dabo Swinney making. Like, if a kid's looking to transfer, he's probably not good enough to start at the place he initially went to. And there's no point in trying to go after a guy when they put their name in the portal because oftentimes that deal's already done. It's got a do not contact on there. And that means that there's already been an agent who's negotiated the deal with another school. And then finally there's the third type that is just trying to get up a bidding war to see what their market value is, which, that player is probably not bought in to what Clemson's offering. So I would caution any school, if you're just trying to build through the portal, that is not sustainable, one. And two, you're not getting the best players. You're not getting the best players out of high school that will eventually develop to be those first-round picks, the 5-star, 4-star guys like that. And there's countless examples of that. So we'll see how NIL, the transfer portal, everything that's transpiring in college football sorts itself out over the next few years. But I think you'll look back on some of the programs that were very adamant about their approach to this, Clemson in particular. And I think history will look back kindly on them and say, They kind of weathered the storm of adversity and through all this chaos, but that was a program that they based things off their high school recruitment, development, and then they, decided not to really hit anything in the transfer portal. That's their own prerogative, and I think they'll continue to still be successful. Other programs might sprinkle in some, and that's fine too, because that's an opportunity you have to make your roster better, make your team better. But this spring window in particular, the second window, like we saw, if you're trying to rely on that, you're not getting anyone who's really going to come in and drastically change the outcome of what your season may be. I mean, the only window that really matters is the one after the season. That's where you get guys who potentially are looking at trying to jump ship, go somewhere else, or make more money in NIL. Then you might get some opportunity there. But the spring window, the most recent one, that's more depth for your roster more than anything else.
So when Deion Sanders a couple of weeks ago, I think it was talking with media in Boulder, and they were talking about all the transfers and guys leaving, and he basically said, and these are backups, like something along those words, where he said these are guys that weren't going to be starting here anyways, and the media was trying to challenge him or question him on it. Like, I think some people had pushed back because they were like, well, it's kind of disrespectful, maybe the way he's talking about these players. But I kind of get from a coach's standpoint that if a guy's going to use me and my program to create either a bidding war or to try and use me as a launching point to get to someplace else, and he's not getting any playing time here, I've got to represent the program and let people know, like, hey, just because we're losing these players, the optics from people not in the know may look bad. Like, hey, everybody's leaving. But these are guys that aren't going to be playing.
That's correct, Jonas Knox.
So
that's a correct. Yes, that's a correct.
But
assessment.
When people get upset about that,
you don't
and say,
have to get upset at Deion Sanders stating the obvious. Dabo just said it. They're leaving for a couple reasons. The first reason, he's basically saying, this is the reason why these guys at Colorado are leaving. They're not good enough to play here. They're backups. Like, I'm just explaining to you who they are. We're not losing starters. We're losing backups. So if he's stating it that way, there shouldn't be any outrage about it. I mean, it's not like he's being crass about how he's approaching it. It's just basically telling you what it is. And that's most likely, more than often, the reason why guys are going into the transfer portal, unless they have created, like you said. And then there's those outliers where, like a Caleb Williams, right? His coach left, went to a different school. He followed the coach. Yeah, like that's like one of those one times where you're like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. That a guy that good would leave and go. That makes sense. But for the most part, be clear, if you're going to Colorado as a transfer that went into the portal, chances are you already knew you were going to Colorado to play for Colorado. And the kids that are leaving, they're leaving because chances are they know they're never going to get on the field as to the capacity that they intended to get on the field at. And so now they're looking for a different place to land where they may have that opportunity. Generally, it's not going to be on the same level as the school you're leaving. Just generally doesn't work that way.
People don't
That's
like
the reality
that.
of it.
People don't like hearing that, though.
Oh, well.
But here we are with college football. Portal.